Okay, we are live and I have an idea to share with you. I have been noticing that more and more customers want to use podcasts as a new medium of a couple things. One, the podcast allows you to create long form content that could be snipped into shorts. So it's called turkey slicing. You create long form content, slice it up into pieces. Now you've got all kinds of information for short form video, graphical quotes. You've got the talk track. If you think about the script that can go into a newsletter, so many options. But when I ask a little bit around why they're doing this, I think sometimes there's a misconception of the ramp up period or the reason that they're doing it. And I'm going to speak from a B2B company, from a business to business company. This is not about recreating the Joe Rogan experience or the All In podcast. Going viral doesn't create lead flow, doesn't create commercial success. If you were to back up and pause and say, hold on, I am allocating time and dollars into marketing campaigns. What am I looking for? Am I looking for eyeballs or am I looking for leads to lower my cost of customer acquisition? This is the mindset that you first need to get into when you're creating your podcast. This is not about trying to get a million listeners. This is about meeting the one prospect that becomes the customer. And your cost of customer acquisition is pennies compared to the lifetime value of that customer. And this is yet another medium to acquiring customers. So with that, I'm going to visualize our podcasting experience and how we do it and so forth. But what I want you to think about is 80% of why we do this is lead generation to acquire new customers. 20% of that, the byproduct of the podcast, is in fact influencing people as listeners that make it go viral and it lands in the right hands and the listeners become a potential customers. So that means that if 80% of it is lead generation, it's actually centered around the guests that you invite. And that's the first insight. The first insight I want you to think about is you pay money, and depending on your cost of customer acquisition, some companies spend thousands of dollars per sales qualified lead. They'll spend thousands of dollars to acquire a lead. Now, in doing so, would you pay money to, as an example, get a list of ideal customer profiles? Maybe I use LinkedIn as my medium of communication, and invite your ideal customer profile to be a guest on the podcast. This is what I do. My guests are founders and CEOs, which is my ideal customer profile. And so I'm using LinkedIn to start conversations with founders and say, listen, you've got a voice. You've got something to share. Why don't you come on the podcast? Now, the average CEO and founder loves to raise their hand and say, I do have a voice. I have a story to tell. So this is called a permission-based content play. So you have not asked for a demo and discovery call. You are not begging for a meeting, which that's what you pay hundreds or even thousands of dollars to do. This cost you next to nothing. You used LinkedIn or email and you invited them to be a guest on your podcast. When they are on your podcast, you are now formulating a relationship that costs you nothing more than time. So as an example, I'll share my screen now. Let's share entire screen. And we use Riverside. And so I will record episodes and episodes and episodes with founders and CEOs of companies to talk shop. We'll talk gross margins, operating leverage, sales and marketing tactics. We'll develop a great relationship. In doing so, we forge a relationship. No different than a discovery call, except we're not actually using medic and asking qualification questions. We're just forging a relationship. Then from there, we pause. And at the end of the recording, this is now offline from the recording, I'll ask a simple question. What would you like to know about my agency based on what we talked about? And you're giving them the permission to ask you, can I learn more? And not everybody does it. And that's fine. We have a great podcast episode. It goes viral. And now the founder community learns something from my guest. But a percentage of them say, hold on, you and I talked about this. I've got this bottleneck or challenge or resource gap in my business in sales and marketing. And I know that you have an offshoring agency. I need help with X, Y, and Z. And we pause and we say, how about we have a meeting in a meeting? Let's book a meeting in a meeting next Thursday. Let's have a call about this. I just created a sales qualified lead that cost me nothing but time instead of BDRs or an offshore or an outsourced agency spending hundreds or thousands of dollars to ring the phone and try to book a meeting. I've engaged my exact buyer, had them as a guest, cut through all the red tape to be able to get them to what you would consider the moment of value to having a demo and discovery, to have this kind of FaceTime. And now they're asking you, can I have a meeting? That is why we do podcasting. Now, the other 20% are the audience that benefits from the content that is being produced. And yes, you get to slice that content into little shorts. It goes viral and viral and viral, and it builds you. You become the lighthouse. You demonstrate to the market. You know what you're talking about. Come to me. I am a resource. That's the 20%, the inbound lead flow that you can influence but not control. But what you can control is the 80%, the guests that you have on your podcast. And those guests are your ideal customer profile. They could be CMOs, chief financial officers, chief information security officers, head of human resources, whatever your buyer persona is. Now you're getting free at-bats to have conversations with them. You're giving them value at the same time. They get a platform to raise their hand, tell their story on your podcast. This is a fantastic sales play. It costs you nothing more than, as I mentioned, I'll share my screen again, a Riverside license, the ability to message guests at scale. Now, we use LinkedIn. Of course, I have an offshoring agency where people do this on behalf of others. This is a sales play we run. You end up with all kinds of podcast episodes and shorts that get snipped up. This is the 20%, the going viral and having people come inbound, but the 80% are the people that are in this audience that become customers. So I hope you found this valuable. This is a great sales play that you could be running at any time. You can see my microphone here. Running at any time to be able to create lead flow for your business. Hope you enjoyed.